What if I told you that 70% of new homeowners have regrets about their purchase, with some saying they were surprised by unexpected costs that homeownership brings? Or that the hidden cost of homeownership adds up to an average of $18,118 per year for a single family home in America. So those are costs like property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. That's an extra $1,500 or so per month that you would have to pay in addition to your mortgage payment. These are just two shocking statistics of many in today's video on why homeownership may not be all that it's cracked up to be. In fact, while owning a home is culturally celebrated as the American dream or winning, many homeowners find themselves regretting their purchases and wishing that they were renters instead. In today's video, we're gonna go over 7 reasons backed with data and surveys as to why homeowners are secretly jealous of people who simply rent a place to live. Starting with the first reason is that there's actually a lot of data around homeowner regret. Surveys ran in 2023 and 2024 by Clever Real Estate showed that about 82% of respondents actually had some sort of regret about their home purchase. Quote, chief among them were spending too much on a home, with 43% saying they've struggled to make their mortgage payment on time, and 44% saying they've had to take on additional debt to maintain their standard of living. And this makes a lot of sense with the interest rate environment that we've been in for the past few years. Currently, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage is still in the mid to high 6% range. Prior to the pandemic, the 30-year US fixed mortgage rate was sitting right around the 3.5% interest rate level. Now, if you know nothing about mortgage rates, 3.5% is historically considered low. If you were to borrow $500,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage, your monthly payment on this loan would be $22.45 a month at a 3.5% rate. At a 7% interest rate, like what we have these days, your monthly payment becomes $3,327, which is about $1,100 more per month just on the higher interest rate alone. It's no wonder why then, in the same article, buyers say that the home buying process was way harder than expected. 40% exceeded their budget, 38% said their interest rate was too high, 38% said that there weren't enough homes on the market, 37% said their homes were too expensive, and 29% struggled to get financing. It's clear that a lot of buyers are having trouble with the financing portion of owning a home, but that's not the only reason for homeowners regret. In another survey by Hippo Insurance, 29% of homeowners face an added stress of navigating repairs or renovations, which are often unplanned. Most financial experts recommend setting aside 1 to 3% of your home's value every single year for maintenance and repairs. So for monthly budgeting, this typically translates to about 1 to 2% of your monthly housing payment. So if your home is worth $400,000, you want to budget $4,000 to $12,000 per year for maintenance and repairs. And that's actually quite a lot if you think about it, and I know many families just don't budget for this cost. In the same Hippo report from earlier, 59% of those homeowners said that they plan to move in 2025. I don't know how realistic that is, but it could show you that a lot of these homeowners are really frustrated because they might be paying too much for maintenance and repairs, especially if they're unplanned. That brings me to reason number 2 today why homeowners may prefer renting, and those are simply the hidden costs. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that the average annual hidden cost of owning a home and maintaining a single family home in the United States is very expensive. Bankrate actually has this hidden cost of home ownership study, and they found that it was over $21,000 annually, broken down by the following: $88.08 to home maintenance, $4,494 to utilities and energy, $4,316 to property taxes, $2,267 for home insurance, and $1,515 for internet and cable. And this is for a median priced home in the United States of around $437,000. In some states like Hawaii and California, this number might be way higher, and it just really all depends on the price of the home that you're buying as well. Psychologically speaking too, there's just a lot of mental load that is put on a homeowner 24/7, 365 days a year. You constantly have to worry about property values, interest rates, neighborhood changes, and make decisions around repairs and maintenance when they do occur. Versus if you're a renter, you're not really worried about any of those at all. If something breaks in your apartment, you just call your landlord and they typically fix it for you. The third reason today is that buying a home actually has lower mobility for job opportunities. When it comes to owning a home, you're basically planting your roots in that location, and when that happens, you're going to be way less flexible when it comes to moving locations for, say, a new job or perhaps a different opportunity. Think of it this way: let's say you buy a house, you're the age of 30 and you have a partner already, and you just decide, hey, this is where we're going to settle. A few months go by and either you or maybe your partner all of a sudden gets the craziest job opportunity of a lifetime, and it's going to have you move from California to, say, New York. That's going to be a lot harder harder for you to just uproot your life and move because, well, it's across the country and you can't just pick up and leave because you have a house. You probably either have to find someone to stay in your house, perhaps a renter, or you could list the house for sale, and even that's going to be an arduous process that could take anywhere from 1 to 3 months on the shorter end. Let's say you take that crazy opportunity in New York, you might still have a psychological regret. You might say to yourself, dude, I just bought this house, like why am I not even living in it, and now I have to pay a mortgage on top of renting a new place across the country. So overall, you just have less flexibility and less mobility, and that's just one of the facts that you have to accept when you are buying a home, but that could actually tip the scale in the renter's favor if you want that flexibility. The fourth reason why homeowners might be jealous of renters is the fact that only in certain parts of the country does real estate actually outperform the stock market on average over a period of say 20 to 30 to 40 years. If you bought a house in say middle of nowhere Texas, or even worse, you bought a condo in San Francisco, your investment would either be flat or in some cases you have to sell at a loss. In a very extreme example, you can see that a SF condo was bought in 2019 for $1.25 million, but sold for half of that just 1 year ago. But what about most parts of the country? Well, in most places, houses these days are selling for way more than they were 25 years ago. Take this home in Menlo Park, California. Today it's listed for $2.898 million, but sold in 2000 for $1.007 million. That's a total return of 187% or 4.32% compounded annually. That's not too bad, but if you took that same $1.007 million and you invested it in the stock market, it would be worth right around $6 million today for a total return of 495% or 7.32% compounded annually. In fact, real estate appreciation since 1992 has proved to be right around 5.5% versus the stock market has averaged around 8 to 10% per year according to Investopedia. So that's why there's a strong argument for just renting and investing your potential down payment. You can just get a higher return financially in the markets. There is one benefit of owning a home though, which is that it's very hard to panic sell your house. Investing in a property can take the emotions out of investing because if the market has a downturn, it's not like you can just sell your house within a day. Usually there's still a long process to sell a home. All I'm trying to say is that real estate will force you to hold onto your investment, and also you can live within the investment itself, so it may not be the worst choice financially either. So while that is a benefit of home ownership, I think that if you were trying to financially optimize your life, you would just opt to rent and then invest the money instead. Before we go on to reason number 5, make sure to check out my free newsletter called Hump Days. That's where we come out with free business news twice per week on Wednesdays and Sundays. I will leave a link down below in the description for that. If you like our videos here on the channel, I think you'll really enjoy that newsletter, so make sure to check that out. Reason number 5 today is that renting can be more affordable in many markets as of right now. When you factor in all the costs that we've discussed, the mortgage payment, the property taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the utilities, those unexpected repairs, renting often comes out significantly cheaper than buying, especially in today's market with high interest rates. Let's break this down with some real numbers though. So the median priced home, according to the Federal Reserve right now, is about $407,000, and let's just assume it's a 2-bedroom house. So for a typical homeowner with that median priced home, this is what they're going to be looking at paying monthly. The mortgage at 6.5% interest rate and 20% down will come out to $2,059 per month. Property tax will be around $334 a month. Home insurance will be $176 a month. Maintenance at $682 per month, and utilities $350 per month. So a homeowner then is looking at around $3,600 per month in total housing costs for a typical 2-bedroom home, while a renter could likely find a comparable 2-bedroom apartment or rental home for significantly less than that in many markets. In expensive markets like San Francisco, where I am, or New York or Los Angeles, this gap becomes even more dramatic. In these areas, you could rent a luxury apartment for $4,000 to $5,000 per month, while the total cost of homeownership for that same comparable property might run you $8,000 or maybe even $12,000 per month. And that's simply due to the fact that property values are so high in these very high cost of living cities. This affordability advantage gives renters more disposable income to invest in the stock market, travel, or perhaps save for other goals. The next reason why homeowners are actually jealous of renters is that there is a ton of social pressure around owning a home, and that the American dream usually makes homeowners defend their choice. Many homeowners who are struggling financially or regretting their purchase won't admit it publicly, since homeownership has been so deeply ingrained in American culture as a symbol of success and stability. Having to admit that you have buyer's remorse feels like a failure to many people, especially after you've bought a house. You don't really want to downsize, or you don't really want to put it up for sale either. You try to find a way to make it work because it's a large purchase that you just can't take back to the store. We've been taught that renting is just throwing money away, that you aren't an adult until you own a house, and that home ownership is how you build generational wealth. The truth is, when it comes to buying a home versus renting, you need to crunch the numbers yourself to see if it makes sense for you, because there is no shame in renting if that's what you prefer. Especially when you're saving thousands of dollars per month, have complete flexibility, and are able to invest the difference in higher returning assets. But until we change the cultural narrative around home ownership, many people will continue to make emotional decisions rather than logical, financially sound housing decisions. And some people just might buy a house because their parents tell them that's what they did when they were young, even though the financial landscape of owning a home these days, it's much, much different than it was even 25 or 30 years ago. And reason number 7 why homeowners may regret their purchase is that homes can be a renovation money pit. In fact, about 35% of homeowners say that they plan to spend at least $10,000 on renovations in 2024 alone. That was last year. And the shocking part is that a quarter of homeowners have started renovation projects they knew that they couldn't afford. So really listen to that statistic there. 1 in 4 people are deliberately taking on debt for home improvements that they can't actually end up paying for. I think this happens because people are impulsive. So especially when it comes to home projects, perhaps you decide that a bathroom needs a small refresh. So you start out by changing the sink or the vanity, and then all of a sudden, while you're doing that, you realize, man, my whole bathroom floor needs replacing. That leads you to redo the whole floor, and then while you're doing that, you're like, oh man, I need to change the electrical wiring here too because this is really old, or perhaps it needs to be replaced. Before you know it, a $5,000 refresh has turned into a full-on $30,000 renovation project. And the thing is, once you've started a renovation, it's not like you can just stop halfway through. You can't live in a bathroom with no sink. I mean, technically you could, but it would be really tough. So I would just say when it comes to renting versus owning a home, renting sometimes seems easier because you could just move into a new place when you want to upgrade your living situation without the hassle of having to find contractors, project manage. You have to get permits, and you have to spend a lot of money on a renovation. I don't think homeownership is inherently evil or that everyone should rent forever either, but I do think that we need to be conscious about our choices when it comes to renting versus buying. Those are 7 reasons why I think homeowners might be secretly jealous of renters, but let me know what you thought in the comments. And if you want to watch my video on renting versus buying a house in 2025, please make sure you click on the following video right here. Once again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you watching my channel. Make sure to subscribe to Hump Days. It's completely free, link down below, and I'll see you guys in a future video. All right, bye.